Hello, everybody. Say hi to me. I'm on Facebook so far. Okay, let's see if I can be on Instagram at the same time. So cool. Okay, hi everybody. Friday's conversation just between you and me. And this is a conversation that I have regularly with people. So if you relate to this, if this resonates with you, just so you know, you are very normal. And I think it's just really good to be honest with yourself as to what we're doing here, and it is about finding your purpose. I talk about it all the time because there's a lot of women out there that are just struggling in this department. And so if you've got a piece of paper and a pen, I'm going to give you a lot of resources today and a lot of questions to ask yourself, because it is something that, like I said, I talk about all the time. Hold on, let me fix my little camera on Instagram. It's really short. So talk about it all the time because a lot of people struggle with it. So let's get into it. Finding your purpose has a lot to do with your identity, which is really, if I were being honest and a betting girl, I would say really is where people struggle. So let's get into it. Are you ready? Some books and some questions that I think are super valuable if you're on that soul-seeking journey of what am I doing in the world? What is my purpose? What do I have to offer? And I saw a very simple meme the other day that says your gifts and talents plus helping others equals your purpose. Your gifts and talents plus helping others equals your purpose. And I can't think of anything better and anything more simple than that thought right there. So if you're, and girls, I've done this 100 times a day, I think, is you just sit there, you're sitting in your office and you're like, what am I supposed to be doing with my life? Like who am I supposed to be talking to? What am I supposed to be offering? Where do I go? What do I do? It's so normal. It's so normal. It's so normal. But your gifts and talents plus your ability to help others equals your purpose. Now, obviously, right? You have to know what your gifts and talents are. And for me, that has been my pursuit over the last 20 years of my life, has really been, Heather, who are you? Not who your parents say you are, not who your siblings say you are, not who your spouse says you are. Who are you? Who did God make you to be, and for what purpose? That is the real truth. And I will tell you, you know me well enough to know that I am a junkie when it comes to like personality assessments. And my favorite of all times is Strength Finders. That was the first time that so it's Gallup Strength Finders. If you've never done it, I just can't even recommend anything higher that I can recommend Strength Finders, because it changed my life. It gives you your strengths 1 through 5, and then I paid to have all of them. And I looked at that and I was like, it made me sad. It made me depressed. I'm like, well, like that's who I am. That's the first time I took it. The second time I took it, and it didn't change. It's to say it is who you are. It made me really get very comfortable in my footing of, Heather, you can argue, you can throw a fit, you can disagree, or you can just get really good at who you are. And that's what I decided to do. Instead of bucking it, instead of wishing I was somebody else, and wishing that I had different strengths, I just said, Heather, this is who you are in black and white. Own it, which means you have to learn. So I became a great student of Enneagram. I love basic needs. I love languages, changed my marriage. That was like, oh my gosh, such a simple test. So eye-opening. I love the primal question. That's a new one that I took. The saboteur assessment. There's so many of them. Dig in and figure out who you are, because that's your gifts and talents. So how can you help others if you don't even really know who you are? So that's step number 1. Now, book-wise, I've got some books, and then I've got some questions for you. At my last silent retreat, I read this book, and it has come highly recommended multiple times, and I actually have 3 copies of it. Isn't that so funny? Because I am notorious for buying things and then never buying books and never reading them. I've actually was gifted 2 of them, so that's pretty cool. But this book right here, Living Fearless by Jamie Winship, was an incredible read, an incredible activities. This is something that is best spent like doing in one sitting. So I think it took me 4 hours to do it. They say like 6 to 8. You know, me, I'm like, just tell me 6 to 8 and I'll do it in half because I can't even stop being competitive, which is on my Strength Finders, by the way. So this one, absolutely incredible for the search of identity, which greatly impacts your purpose. If you don't know who you are, you'll never know what you're supposed to be doing, right? Like that is the easiest thing. So spend time figuring out who you are. The second one I read many years ago, and my coach recommended it to me. And this, I almost can't talk about this book without getting very emotional. And it's called True Faced by Thrall, Mickle, and Lynch. It making me emotional, right? It is incredible about who you truly are and what your relationship with God truly is and what he wants it to be, and just then all the things we do to mess it up. And so how to fix it. Incredible book. And then the last one is where I'm going to give you some questions that if you just want to jot them down, really kind of help you get more in that frame of mind of where your passion and your purpose intersect. And that is Multiply Your God-Giving Potential by John Bevere. And so in this book, he had a bunch of questions at the end. Of course, you know, when I'm reading this book, it's like, find your identity. And I'm like, well, I'm on the search for identity. Who am I? So I wanted the cheat sheet and I wanted like the download. That's not exactly how this works, but the questions were really good and really enlightening. So I'm going to share them with you fast. So write them down or save this video and come back to it. What am I naturally gifted at? Now that's a fun question because, you know, I saw my notes on this and I was like, you know, seeing potential in others. That is one of my gifts. But that's like the one off the top of my head. The ones that were at the end that I don't know if people would agree with me. I don't know what they're good for. I don't know why I'm naturally, this is easy for me. What's easy for you? But I wrote them down anyway. Like I wrote, I love doing things that are different than other people do. I don't know if that's a naturally gifted at, but it is me. It is something that comes easy to me. I do love doing the opposite of what everybody else is doing. So that's got to mean something, right? So that's kind of what you want your list to look like. The second question is, what energizes me? Like, what would you do for free? What would you get up in the morning and you're like, you can't wait to do blah, blah, blah. That's a really good question. Next one is, what am I drawn to? What am I drawn to? What just naturally captures my curiosity? Next one, who are you drawn to? This is really good because a lot of these things can get very confusing in limiting beliefs, or if you've listened to other people in your life that have had a profound effect, I'm sure very positive, but they also can put their belief systems on you and then things look a little bit weird. So who are you drawn to? What if you're like me, and as a maximizer, I am drawn to people that are high achievers. I am drawn to people that are tough, that are honest, that are capable, that are hungry, that are like, I want those people. I don't want people that are sitting on the couch eating bonbons. It is not interesting to me. The people that I'm drawn to are the people that are doing something different. They are ambitious, they're hustlers, they're fun, they're trustworthy. Those are the kinds of people. But what if I was raised in an environment that said, you need to, I was a social worker. Guys, I was a social worker. Did you hear what I said, the people that I was drawn to? What was I doing in social work? That's why I was so miserable in social work, because the people that I were drawn to were not the people that I was spending the time with. So that is an awesome question. So those are just some things to get you thinking in there, because I want you to know who you are. I want you to really see what your passion and your heart and your desires land, because that is a gift from God. That you don't just wake up with desires. God gave them to you. What are they? Know what they are and then use them to help others. So I have a certain population, a certain filter of people that I want to help, right? Those are the people that I'm drawn to. You can't You are not a taco, as we talked about last week. You are not a taco, so you can't please everybody. You're not designed to. You have your people that you are supposed to impact, that you are supposed to help. So go find out who you are, and then go find out who they are.